Okay, good morning. So today we're looking at the last part of, we're actually marking the homework from nominal to effective. Is that correct? No, depreciation. Are you busy with depreciation? Eh? We have to first do the remainders, the remaining sums of exercise 11.8. Okay. Is there any issues with 11.8? Any problems prior to number 9 in 11.8? No. Okay. So you're looking at number 9 out of 11.8, which then concludes exercise 11.8. Okay. Which page is the 11.8 on? 389. Okay. Okay, so the question says, convert a nominal interest rate of 6.5% per annum compounded quarterly to a nominal interest rate per annum compounded monthly. Didn't we do this up? We did. So why are you asking me to do it again?
So, can we do it again?
What's wrong with you? Okay, I'll do it again. Okay, I'll show you the other way. No? I said there was two ways of doing this. Okay. So I'll do it the other way. Maybe that is why she's asked me. I must do it to see the other way. Listen, if you look at it this way, if you're looking at the first part, it's compounded quarterly. So I use the formula A plus I effective equals 1 plus I to the M over M to the M. In this case, it's going to be compounded quarterly. So it's I to the 4 over 4 to the 4. Not so. If I look at the second part of the calculation, the second part, then I'm going to convert that quarterly compounding to a compounded monthly. No? Remember? And with this, for the first formula, I would calculate this one here. Not so. Then I'm going to go into the other formula as I did before. I effective equals 1 plus I to the 12 over 12 to the 12. Then what I did was, in the previous calculation, I replaced that I and worked it back. Not so? Remember. But what do you notice about these two? What do you notice about these two equations? Feels again like I'm alone in the class. State the obvious. What do you notice? Both yes? Have eyes yes? Both yes? Both have eyes? What do you notice? Don't you see that 1 plus IE is exactly the same as 1 plus IE? Am I weird? Yes. Not so? So what can we say? 1 plus I to the 4 over 4 to the exponent 4 is equal to then 1 plus I to the 12 over 12 to the 12. Not so? So now we know that there's a 6.5 compounded quarterly must be changed to a nominal compounded monthly. So I'm going to say 1 plus 0, 0.065 compounded quarterly to the exponent 4 is equal to 1 plus I to the 12 over 12 to the 12. So what must I calculate? I must calculate I to the 12. Not so. So what do I do first? What's that in the calculator? Thereafter, what do I do? Take the 12th root. Not so. By taking the 12th root, I've eliminated that now. Not so. Then what? Take the 1 over. So it's going to be the 12th root of 1 plus 0,065 over 4 to the exponent 4 minus 1 equals I to the 12 over 12. Now what? Multiply by 12 both sides. Not so? So it's a 12. So that is gone. And then I multiply it by 100. To get the rate. So we say the 12 open brackets, the 12th root of 1 plus 0,065 over 4 to the exponent 4 minus 1. This is an answer of 0,0646 times 100. Gives us a rate of 6,47. Alright. You guys understand? Just check me, what was the answer I got the last time? I see some of you already checking. No? Yeah. But okay, you guys understand? Alright. Then coming to exercise depreciation, that's exercise 11.9. Not so? Which sums did I ask you to do? Number 1 to number 8. Right. Any problems with numbers 1 to 5? Any problems with 1 to 5? Booklet? Any problems? 7. It doesn't, it's not 1 to 5. Okay. Just joking, huh? I could do 7 just for you. Anything else, people? From number 6 to 9? 6 to 8. Any problems with 6 to 8? Only number 7. And then I must do example 3 in today's lesson. Eh? Correct? Number 7. There's a lot at the bottom there. So just in case I need space. Alright, so number 7, this is write the reference here. This is exercise 11.9, page 392. 392, yes. 392. Okay. So, a school buys a number of television sets at the cost of 240,000 rand. The school calculates that the depreciation on television sets on straight line basis. What rate of depreciation does it use if the value of these television sets is 0 after 5 years? So what formula do I use then? Straight line basis. No? So A is equal to P into 1 minus I times A. So what's your P value? 240,000. Not so. What is your ending value? 0. Into 1 minus I. This is what you're calculating times N. Huh? 5. Not so. So what do I do in order to calculate I? Divide by 240,000. Both sides. So of course that gives you 0 equals 1 minus 5i. Now what? Take the 1 over, so it's 5i equals 1. So I is equal to 1 over 5, which gives me a rate of 20%. Is that correct? Huh? Let's look at B. In the B part of the question, we are saying use straight line rate of depreciation calculated in A and determine the book value of television at the end of 3 years. So we will use this value here. So what's the formula again? A is equal to P into 1 minus I times it. Again, you don't have to write the formula down here. It's 240,000 into 1 minus I, which is 0,2 times N. How many years is this for? 3 years. Okay, so that gives us 240 into 1 minus 0.2 times 3. Gives you? That's 2 million. So it's 96,000. Okay, you guys understand? So what was the confusion here?
So, I put in 20%, 0.2.
Sorry?
20%, 0.2.
Oh, you didn't multiply it by 100.
I didn't divide it.
Sorry?
Then, in B, so I didn't divide it.
In B, you didn't. So you just said 20. So then you had got a negative answer.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Alright. Any other problems with exercise 9? No. So let's look at example 3. Three or four? 4. So we did 3 yesterday. Yes. Okay. I'll put this at the bottom. That will come later on. Right, so we're looking at example 4, and this is on page 391. Page 391, example 4. Okay, so we are told that in example 4, a transport company buys a truck at the cost of 720,000 rand. Determine the book value of the truck at the end of 5 years if the depreciation is calculated at 18% per annum on the reducing balance method. So I'm going to do A. Which formula do I use? Huh? Depreciation on reducing balance. Another word for reducing balance could be diminishing balance method. Okay? The formula A is equal to P into 1 minus I to the exponent n. Do the substitution. Right, so what do we get? 720,000 into 1 minus 0,18 to the exponent. How many years is this for, people? 5 years. Gives us what? 26,000? 693. No, it is not. 206,000. 266,000. 932. 169. Right, you all okay with that? Right, let's look at B. Calculate the cost of a similar new truck in 5 years' time. If the expected rate of inflation. So inflation is which formula? Compound formula. Did we do this last year? Okay, now we're doing it now. Compound formula, A is equal to P into 1 plus I to the exponent n. Make a note, dear people, that for inflation, you'll always use this formula. Okay? For those of you who want to have an exercise on this, you can let me know. I will send you a link to a video where we did the inflation exercise in grade 10. Okay? However, this is exactly this formula that gets used over and over. Okay? So that's your inflation formula. Your p-value, in this case, is going to be what? 720. That's your initial value. So work out the inflation of the truck, or the cost of the new similar truck, in 5 years' time. Okay, so let's go with that. We have 720,000 into 1 plus 0,045 to the exponent, 5 years. Okay? So that gives us an answer of 1 million. Not a million yet. 720,000 into 1 plus 0,45 to the exponent 505. 800 and 97 rand, 251 cents. Okay, do you guys understand? Any confusion thus far? Okay. Then in C, the question says, calculate the amount of money required at the end of 5 years if the old truck is sold at its book value. What's the book value? That amount there. Okay? And sold. Your file, yes? So calculate the amount of money required at the end of 5 years if the old truck is sold at its book value and the money is used towards purchasing a new truck. So in other words, we need to work out the shortfall that is needed in 5 years' time to replace this truck. Okay, you see what happens in business, right? If you're going to buy now a fleet of new trucks or vans or cars or whatever, what happens is for this book value, once you sell that vehicle or equipment or whatever, they use that money towards the new vehicle or equipment in that case. Does it make sense? Why? So that the new vehicle will be 266,932 rand less in terms of what we need to pay for the truck. Does it make sense? Okay. Although we would find better use for that money, not so? Okay, but the company doesn't work so. The company try and save all the time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, it's a pleasure. So you guys understand what we are doing here? Alright. Sorry? Okay, what I'm saying is, if the company had bought a truck, the truck was 720,000. In 5 years' time, that same truck will be worth 897,251. But the truck that the company currently has after 5 years will be 266 rand, 932 rand and 69 cents. Can you see that? So what happens after 5 years? What happens? They sell the truck at that price, at the book value, and they use that book value amount towards purchasing the new truck. So instead of paying 897,251 cents, they're going to pay 266,932 and 69 cents less than that price. Why? Because this is the cash price they're coming in with. Can you see? Or your deposit amount. Make sense? This is what we call your shortfall. Okay, what is needed. Okay, you guys understand? So, to calculate the shortfall is going to be 897,251 rand minus 266 rand, 932 rand and 69 cents. Put that in the calculator. Minus 266, 932.69. Gives you 630,000 318 rand and 31 cents. So that is the shortfall after 5 years. That is what they need to either after 5 years they will make a loan for 630,000 318 and 31 cents, or if they have that money, that is what they need to pay the difference in. Right? You understand? This is the same idea that is applied on trading. Okay? So every year somebody buys a brand new Jaguar. After 5 years they want to buy another brand new in the same category. So what they do is, after 5 years they pay the car off. They trade in. It's a trade in. No? So they must get a bit less for the car. And then way much more they must pay for the new car. No? Those cars are expensive. Okay, does it make sense, people? Alright, so let's carry on. So we are told that the company decided to set up a sinking fund. So a sinking fund is basically a fund. Now instead, you see what happens is, after 5 years, and they didn't have that 630,000 rand. And what must happen after 5 years? They must take out a loan of 630,000 rand and then start paying the loan back. Okay, not so. But the loan is going to take an interest. Not so? So instead of being charged an interest, what they do is they set up a sinking fund. They start saving for in 5 years' time. So instead of paying an interest, they're actually gaining an interest. Does it make sense? So now if they're saving, they're going to get a kickback from the money they have saved over that time period. You guys understand? Understand? I'll repeat it again. Okay. So after 5 years, she's short. The company short 630,000, 315 rand and 31 cents to replace the old truck with a new truck. Okay. So that's the shortfall. So after 5 years, it's either the company has a 630,000 rand to pay the shortfall, or the company must take out a loan and then repay the loan. But in that case, they would have to pay an interest. Okay, once they take a loan out, they must pay interest on that loan. Not so. Or they can save money from now for this 5-year period, and then in 5 years' time come to a value very close to that, and then just pay the balance with the shortfall. So if they save money over that 5 years, instead of giving out money on interest, they will be gaining money on interest. Understand? So, and that saving towards the future, in this case, is called a sinking fund. Okay? So the company decides to set up a fund. Okay, it doesn't say sinking fund, but later on we'll talk about the sinking fund in grade 12 months. Okay? To replace the old truck at the end of 5 years. They deposit 100,000 rand into a fund when the truck is 1 year old. Okay? So if we look here, the time T0, starting point. Did anything happen here at T0? No. At T1, they didn't see, they deposited 100,000 rand. So 100,000 is indicated with a plus. Not so. They deposit 100,000 rand into the fund when the truck is 1 year old. 115,000 rand when the truck is 2 years old. So T2 is going to be 150,000. When the truck is 2 years old, okay, 200,000 rand when the truck is 3 years old. So T3, 200,000. Okay, calculate how much money will have accumulated in the fund at the end of 5 years. So T5. If the interest paid on the money in the fund is 30% per annum compounded annually. Okay. So instead of asking you how much money is in the fund at the end of 5 years, they could have asked you what is the shortfall or the surplus money at that point. Okay, understand? So maybe that won't give you exactly that value. You could either be short or over. But the idea is to come very close to this amount. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to consider the 100,000 for how many years? 4 years. That's why I just take it to the end all the time. So a total, it's going to be 100,000 into 1 plus 0.13 to the exponent 4. So now I'm going to take the 150,000 in consideration. So it's going to be 150,000 into 1 plus 0.13 to the exponent 3 years. You will agree it's 3 years from there to there? Plus. It will be 200,000 for how many years? How many years, people? 2 years. So 8 total. I say 1.30, I get my answer. So it's going to be 100,000. Answer to the exponent 4 plus 150,000. Answer to the exponent 3, 200,000 to the exponent 2. That is 634,000. 634,861 rand and 91 cents. So does he have, is there a shortfall or a surplus? The surplus of how much? If they ask you what is the surplus amount, it will be that minus this. So which means to say, the company has saved more than required. If it was less, it would have been a shortfall, which is less than required. Now to pay that small amount in is easy for a company, whereas to pay 630,000 rand straight is a bit steep. Okay? So you take it off. So that will give you 630,318 rand and 31 cents. So they have a surplus of 4,543 rand and 60 cents. Make sense? If they ask you how much interest was earned over the 5-year period, remember that is the amounts they have paid into the account. Okay? So we're going to say okay, that was that amount minus, so that is 634,861 and 91 cents minus the first deposit of 100,000 plus 200,000, 300,000, so they made 450,000 rand investment. Not so? So the interest earned on that investment is 184,861 rand and 91 cents. Can you see? So instead of having a loan where they had to pay an interest, if the interest rate was, for argument's sake, in this case 13%, remember the interest rate is much higher than that, no? On a loan over 5 years. They would have been paying 184,000. Can you see that? So instead of paying that 184,000, they're actually saving, and they have saved it through a interest bearing investment. Right, you guys understand? Girlfriend, you're not even looking here. Now later on you say you don't understand. Okay, do you guys understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any confusion here? Right. So that's the last question in finance. So for homework, I want you guys to conclude 11.9 and the revision exercise for Monday. Okay? So 11.9 is for tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And then the revision exercise for Monday. Okay, remember you are writing a test. And the test will be based on this financial maths as well. No? Please don't forget you're writing on sine, cos and area rule as well. Okay, please watch the videos. Because we have made the videos on that, I can take a bit longer on this. As you saw, I took a while on this, not so? I went a bit slower than usual. So I hope you're making use of the resource, okay?